So in the last couple videos on the B200, I removed the internal governor. I added a 40-tooth rear sprocket, and the bike got pretty close to 50 miles an hour. I think it was around 47 or 48. And then it did in the high 7-second range from 0 to 30. So later on, I want to do some internal engine mods to this bike. But to do that, I'm going to have to add a slide carb and a header pipe. But I want to leave the clean lines of the bike because I like the way the stock exhaust and the airbox tuck under the frame. And then at the same time, with the header pipe, I want to leave the rear fender on here. So I can't do a center exhaust. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can add a header pipe up under here so it's tucked in the frame. So I have this MB200 header pipe. So this pipe used to fit on the MB200 and it would exit right out of the swing arm here. Because this bike is similar in setup. So I'm not sure where the pipe will exit through here. And then I'm thinking I might be able to cut the fender a little bit. So I'm going to try to install the MB200 pipe and then a slide carb on this bike, and then I'll take it back out for a 0 to 30 in top speed, and we'll see if we can break over 50 miles an hour. So I'll go ahead and remove this fender, that way I can see where the pipe's going to come out. Yeah, I like it a lot better with the fender on there. So I'm probably going to have to cut this. Well, I know I'm going to have to cut this. Pull this stock exhaust off of here. Let's see how this MB200 pipe fits on here. So it's close, it comes right out at the frame rail there. So I'm wondering if I can heat this with the torch, bend it out a little bit out here so it sticks out. So what the heck, let's try it. I'll see if I can heat this right here and bend this down just a little bit. Let's get a little torch action going here. But first, before I do, I think I'm gonna get a wet towel and wrap it around this so I don't get a lot of heat on the head. And then, you know, of course, the gas tank. That might make it interesting. Okay, so I got this thing set really low. So hopefully we can get enough heat on this thing without messing up anything else. We'll find out. I mean, it's only fire. It turned out pretty good. So it's about 1 inch away from the frame rail and well away from the tire. And then if you want, you could throw an exhaust trumpet on there and it sticks out just a little bit. I'll figure out where I need to cut a hole in this fender. And I think it's right below that mount here. So I need to pretty much guess where to drill this hole. And I'm guessing about right here, but I guess we shall see. All right, let's see if that works. I'll just pull this pipe back off of here. And I'll throw on the fender with a hole in it, and we'll see if it's in the right spot. Oh man, couldn't have got any better than that. It's literally right in the middle of the pipe. That is awesome. So now I can run a header pipe and the fender. The only thing I see is I might have to file it down just a little bit right there, but that's nothing. File this off just a little bit right here, just to put a little groove in that. That turned out pretty good. I think the pipe's far enough away there, and it's definitely far enough away there through the hole. And it's really cool that it doesn't stick out of the frame. That'll work. That looks pretty clean on there. And I like that you can keep the fender. It's got those nice stock looking lines to it. So now I will turn around and install the slide carb. So pull this carb off of here. Pull this stock linkage off here. Oops. So this will fit on there really close. I will solder a tip on here, and usually I leave around 2 1/4 inches of cable sticking out, give or take, because you have adjustment up here on the throttle assembly to pull it in if you need to. Actually, I would suggest just grabbing a new cable, because if you don't solder that tip on there well enough, you don't want the tip going down inside the engine, because then that might be a bad day. Maybe. But I just make sure that I get it super clean with flux and super hot. Throw some flux on here. Get this thing nice and hot. That ought to do it. Pop this slide on here in this spring. All right, that'll work. All right, let's see if we have full throttle here. Yep. All right, that'll work out. Hook up that fuel line and install the air filter. Got everything hooked up. Got the carb on there and the fuel line and the throttle hooked up. So I installed an RLV baffle or muffler on here just to quiet this thing down a little bit. So it turned out pretty nice. I like the way the exhaust turned out, where it's still pretty tucked into the frame, and the carb doesn't look bad on there either. So now I will take it out and I'll see if I can beat high 7s from 0 to 30 and around 48 miles an hour. The carb has a 115 main jet up here at 3,700 foot elevation, so it feels about right, actually. I mean, it feels pretty good. And then it has a stock pilot. So now I'll do a 0 to 30 and see if I can beat high 7s from 0 to 30. 0 to 30, totally stock 196 except for a 40 sprocket, a VM22 carb, and a header pipe. Oh man, this thing is a lot quicker. Did 0 to 30 in 5.36. It knocked a lot off of 0 to 30 time. Let me try that again. That's surprisingly quick. And even with the 40 sprocket. All right, let me see if I can back up 5.36, 0 to 30. See what it did. A 4.98, it even got quicker. So this thing dropped into the 4s. Yeah, it's a lot quicker. It's surprisingly quick. And especially with a 40 sprocket. So 4.98. So let me see what it does for top speed. So I think I have to beat around 48 miles an hour. 48.74 last time around. Alright, so far so good. Alright, let me take it down the street here for a top speed run. Yeah, this thing runs really good. Got nice throttle response. It's surprisingly quick with this 40 sprocket. I'm surprised that the 196 actually pulls that much gear. So I can't believe how quick this bike got with a 42 sprocket. So it went from 9 seconds stock all the way down to 4.98. So with a 42 sprocket, the bike did 7.98, 0 to 30, and 48.74. But then I added the VM22 and the header pipe, and the bike dropped 3 seconds from 0 to 30. I mean, it's a lot quicker on the bike, and then broke into the 50s, 51.94. So it was totally surprising the bike went from 9.10, 0 to 30 stock in the 4-second range with a 42 rear sprocket. So that's actually pretty good, especially with just only external mods, a carb and a header pipe. And then it broke into the 50s. So I could definitely leave the bike like it is, but you know, I can't leave it alone. So what should I do next?